What's up, everybody? My name is Lowland Justin. Welcome to another Atlanta project. As y'all know, this is the project series to bring back a dead NHL team back to the city of Atlanta. I started this podcast recently with NHL to Atlanta. You guys can go and check that out in the previous video. But today, guest, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dylan Miller. I run the Trashersnhl Instagram account, which is the largest Thrashers-based account on Instagram, I do believe, by follower count, if you want to go by that. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Welcome. So I know from what you have told me about starting the page. Tell like the basis of what you went through, starting to get where you are today, trying to bring back a dead franchise to get hope to Atlanta to show the NHL we're ready for this team.
Right. So I started Thrashers NHL when 2017, right? So I was a 16-year-old at the time, and I saw a Thrashers magnet from when I was younger, because I was only 10 years old when the Thrashers relocated, which is super young. Like by most standards, I'm 21 now, and I was like, you know what would be really cool is if there was still a Thrashers Instagram account on Instagram, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because, of course, there probably wouldn't be. And I went through and I realized, like most NHL teams have their name in NHL. And so my mindset was if I do Thrashers NHL, then it'll seem like the legitimate Thrashers account. And that was what was my initial basis for creating the Instagram and also to just draw attention to, hey, Thrashers fans are still out there. And I created a platform for people to come and share their memories, and that's what the page initially was started to be.
Awesome. It sounds like that you have kind of got everything together with this page, and I've talked to previous people about outside who were Thrashers fans and NHL people that were fans of different teams. I recently went to a Dallas Stars game when they were playing Boston, and people were asking me, why are you wearing an old Thrashers jersey? And I was like, why not? They were part of the NHL, and they were a team. If you were talking to a person, say like somebody like that, and they said, hockey doesn't belong in Atlanta, what would you say to them?
I would say they needed to do more research. I don't know if anyone, a big thing that they try to say about the Atlanta Thrashers needing to relocate, if you look at, they say it's because of attendance. And if you look at the attendance numbers throughout the Thrashers' history, there was not a single time that we were the least attended NHL team. And you had teams like let's see here. So our lowest point, I think we were second to last in attendance in 2009, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But we still had the Islanders beneath us in terms of attendance numbers, average attendance per game. You had big teams down beneath us from like certain standards. We were, let's see, in 2008, the year before what I just said, you had the Devils, Capitals, Panthers, Bruins, Predators, Blue Jackets, Coyotes, and Islanders all beneath the Thrashers in a time when people were saying that nobody wanted to attend hockey in Atlanta, and that just isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
And I, to this day, will wear a Thrashers jersey to any NHL event that I attend. I don't care what anybody says. And I've never had a negative reaction. I've had people come up to me and be like, yo, that's so cool. That's a retro NHL jersey.
Yeah, I had people do that to me when I was at the Stars game. People were supporting it, and I walked through the lobby, and I ran into those Boston people, and they were saying, let's go Thrashers. I was like, that brought back memories.
Yeah, exactly. And being as someone who lives in Nashville, I go to Preds games all the time, and I wear my Thrashers jersey, and it's normally people saying, like, oh, I wish they could have been here, could have been an awesome rivalry, yada yada
Mhm.
yada. But of course, there's always gonna be haters.
Yeah,
Within any NHL team, there will be haters.
obviously.
Um, I just don't know how people can justify having poverty franchises, as they like to say, as you have the Florida Panthers,
Hmm.
who struggle to get people to come to the games, and then you have the Coyotes, who here recently have been barred from their own arena and have to play in a 3,500 for NHL game seat arena.
I actually was gonna update the podcast about that. The Phoenix will no longer let them play in that stadium, and I'm thinking of this. This would be a cool way to bring that team, the Coyotes, to Atlanta.
Yeah,
But
and
this is where I kind of question. Do you think with the Coyotes name, do you think they'll keep the Coyotes name or brand it back to Thrashers?
from a nostalgia standpoint and from a brand recognition, you could say for Atlanta, I personally would like to see Thrashers come back. However, if it comes to copyright, because I don't know if you knew this, but the True North group, the people who bought the Atlanta Thrashers, moved them to Winnipeg.
Hmm.
They still own the rights to the Atlanta Thrashers name and likeness.
Hmm.
That's actually why we don't have them in an NHL game.
Hmm.
Um, Connor, who's a big voice in the Thrashers community, me and him have been talking for a really long time. We actually organized in collusion with the Atlanta Gladiators. We actually helped bring the Hockey Heritage Night to the Glads by like talking to them and emailing them. And
Wow.
he emailed EA, I believe, and he was the one who found out that True North, the Winnipeg Jets, still own the Thrashers, like their
Wow.
logo and their name and everything. And that's why we don't have them in NHL games. Because I
Mm.
mean, who doesn't want to create the Thrashers into the NHL?
I do that. I do that all the time. I think I don't know if you watched my NHL to Atlanta franchise I just started, but I tried to recreate back to the old Thrashers jersey. But the logo I have right now, I feel like if we did bring back the Thrashers, I feel like that'd be a bomb ass logo for the Thrashers.
Oh yeah, I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta Coyotes is not too bad, of course, because I mean there are coyotes in the South, right?
Yeah.
So
I think they would keep. I feel like they would probably would want to keep the Thrasher name because I feel like the Thrasher is actually the state bird of Georgia.
exactly, and Thrasher means something to us. And
Exactly.
it's something that all of us as Atlanta hockey fans have been going back to. So I would keep the Thrashers name, but the NHL is the NHL.
Yeah, they are very lenient on things, and that's my next question that I was going to talk to you about is about. Do you think that they would bring back the old logo, or would they choose a new name if we were ever to like bring back the Thrashers? Do you think it would go back to name a team, where you get to choose a name and a raffle, like how they did back a long time ago with football teams and NHL teams?
I imagine that's probably knowing how teams are nowadays. Everyone wants to have a say about everything, and I imagine Thrashers would be on there. The old logo would be on there, but I do imagine they would probably redesign the logo. They would probably say it's too old, which I would have my own bones to pick with that one.
I would too because I love the old logo. That old Thrasher with the hockey stick, that just looks amazing. To be honest.
Yeah, there was a large community when the Thrashers were around who did not like the logo, who they didn't understand what it was, and there's always going to be haters, like I was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I would want to keep the logo, but it's 2022, so
Yeah.
we would definitely have a different logo. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I can feel that. With how the Dallas Stars they completely changed their logo from the random Dallas with the star and now the star with the D in it, and then
Yeah.
and our NHL franchise is following along behind that, and now Seattle with that team coming along, their jerseys look hella dope.
Yeah, I really like their jerseys. I think they're great.
Yeah. My next question is, if we were to bring back Thrashers, how do you think they would stand up against every single team in the NHL? How do you think they would stand off from how it was back in 2011 to now in 2020, 23 season, if they were in this era?
So that's actually really interesting. So when you go back and look at older expansion franchises, like when we were an expansion franchise, when Nashville was an expansion franchise, when Columbus, it was a lot harder to get talent out of an expansion draft because the rules were a lot stiffer. Nowadays, look at the expansion franchises. You've got the Kraken. You've got Vegas goes almost to the Stanley Cup in their first year, or I think they may have went to the Stanley Cup in their first year. I mean, they go for it. You know, Western Conference championships come easy, or Eastern Conference. I'm assuming we would end up in the East.
Yeah.
Championships come easy to new expansion teams because the pool of talent in the NHL is a lot better now than it used to be. And so when you get to take one player from every team with lenient rules, it's easy to draft a championship team out of the talent of the other teams when these teams can only protect 6 players on their roster, 9 players on their roster. So I personally think we would go from 0 to contender based off of an expansion draft because it's just that easy.
Yeah. I agree with that. I feel like with the franchise with how it is now, them bringing in Seattle, and then I've heard from other rumors, I don't know if this is true, but Houston, Texas is looking into bringing a Houston team, which I would be excited to see Houston having a hockey team, but I would not see how that would work. But with how the franchise is and with how the NHL is, I feel like the Thrashers would have a hell of a time playing, and I think it would bring hockey back to how it used to be. And
what you were saying about the Houston team, there was, I believe, at some point, a de facto owner of a potential Houston franchise.
Oh wow!
Not too long ago. I don't know if that is still around. You know how that goes.
Yeah, they think about it and then they back out last moment.
Right, and so right now the NHL has 32 teams. It's very balanced. So if our greatest chance of having a team is a relocation.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about cities like Quebec City, Kansas City wants a team, Houston wants a team. Recently, I don't know if you've updated your podcast about it, but there's an AHL team potentially coming to Atlanta.
Yes, I found out about that right after I did my podcast with NHL with Rick. When I did my podcast with Rick, I knew a little bit about it. We talked about it in the podcast of it possibly happening, and that he was looking into it to see if it was going to be 100% concrete. I don't know for sure if it's going to be 100% concrete or if that's like 100% going to happen, but I heard about it.
I don't think anybody does yet.
And I think it'd be great for Atlanta to have an AHL team along with the Atlanta Gladiators.
Yeah, and I mean that's just one step closer to us having what we're looking for here. And the biggest issue here is we have to show support for our Atlanta hockey teams.
Exactly.
If we want an NHL team, we need to show that Atlanta wants an NHL team. We can't leave the Gladiators having 4,000 people at a game in their 10,000 seater arena.
Exactly.
We have to pack our NHL teams.
Exactly.
Our professional hockey teams, not NHL. I mean, when we have an NHL team, of course, we have to pack it. But if we get an AHL team, we need to bust the attendance record. We need to throw it out the window. And we have to show the NHL that Atlanta is ready because we have had 2 attempts here. And
with
everybody else,
Flames and
yeah, the
Knights.
Flames and the Thrashers. The
Oh,
Flames and the Thrashers, and then the Knights and the AHL.
yeah.
But if you just look at statistics
Hmm.
or just look at it on paper, Atlanta had two franchises and they moved. Like that's what all people say. You know, it's all people look at. What they don't know is that the Thrashers were moved because our ownership was terrible.
Yeah,
That's why we don't
we
have the Thrashers
we
anymore.
had sketchy ownerships. Everybody kept suing everybody. Everybody just wants to judge it too quick. Oh, they moved because they couldn't win a single game. They were losing
Oh
money.
yeah, they moved because they don't have fans. Blah blah blah. Those people never went to a Thrashers game. That's
Yeah.
the number one issue I have with that. But we're never going to be able to change that there were two franchises in Atlanta. So we
Hmm.
have to prove that this is what we are here for because we have cities that look better than us. So it's huge for us to get this AHL team because that means that professional hockey is at least somewhat interested in
Yeah, they're
Atlanta.
they're they're looking into it. I feel like with the EHL and the AHL, they're spying on us to see if it's good.
Yeah, right,
uh,
exactly.
that kind of goes down to my next question. If it were to go to, playing in Atlanta, stadium wise, where could you see the Thrashers play at if they came back to Atlanta?
One of two things would have to happen. We would either I guess there's a few options. I guess I shouldn't say one of two things. We would either have to renovate either State Farm
Hmm.
or Infinite Energy Center, either or I guess it's called Gas South now.
Yeah, it's Gas South.
Yeah, it's got so many names. I still call it the Gwinnett Center, so
Yeah.
that's me. But we would either have to renovate, we would have to make Gas South an NHL size arena, so probably 18 to 20,000,
Hmm.
unless we want to be Winnipeg with 15. Which it's not impossible, but
Hmm.
that would be an overhaul of that arena.
Hmm.
Which I guess you could just blow the roof off of it and put a whole upper deck up there. I mean, if that's really what you want to do. But then there's also State Farm Arena, which is where we used to play. We would just need to put the hockey equipment back in, and who was it that said it? There was a source I remember that said that it was Mike Conti said that an ice sheet could still fit at State Farm Arena. They renovated the new State Farm Arena.
Yeah.
So either that has to happen with renovations, or we have to build an arena. And so if we were going to build an arena, I would say that we put it with the near the Battery with this through a stadium. Over there in Cobb County, like that's where it would need to be.
Yeah.
Just like the Braves, just build it over there where everything's booming, just right there outside of Atlanta. I think that's.
I can relate with that because I went over when the Braves were in the running for the World Series. I forgot who we were playing against. But I went to go see a Braves game, and man, that area is definitely booming. I think they should definitely either look into putting a stadium there. But from what I've known and kind of listened to and following around, if the the Phoenix team, not Cardinal, Coyotes go to like a college stadium, and that they show that hey, college stadiums are worth going into, getting the fans. I feel like with what you were talking about, renovating, where the Glads play at, I feel like it would not be necessary because if, they show that they can play in a small arena and still get a decent amount of people in, I feel like if they can play in a small arena, why can't we attempt playing in a small arena?
Yeah, it's just that's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying for sure, and that's totally possible.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you want. You
Yeah.
want team revenue. You want them to be in a big arena.
Yeah. I can
And
agree with that with the Stars.
yeah, yeah.
I remember when I went to when it was still Phillips Arena. When I went to go see my first Thrashers game, that stadium was ginormous, and it still
Yeah,
is till this
it
day.
takes your breath away.
Yeah. So what? So knowing that you lived in Nashville and all that, did you ever get to see the Thrashers play at Phillips Arena?
I did when I was younger. I was very little though.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had to have been uh, 7 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe 8. In that area, 6 to 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of memories of going to Gladiators games.
Yeah.
I've been going to Glads games my whole life.
I haven't gotten the chance to go. I haven't gotten the chance to go to Glad's game, but I definitely want to. They've been playing phenomenal this year, so.
And going back to what I was saying earlier about that Hockey Heritage Night,
Mm-hmm.
I actually flew from Nashville to Atlanta just for the night to go to that game,
Wow.
and then flew back to Nashville the next day.
Wow.
But I felt it was my duty to be there. I needed to be there to see that.
I commend you for it. I would not be able to do that. So, like, with the Thrashers and the Flames, Atlanta Flames and Atlanta Thrashers, with those two fell teams, as, like, if you were to talking to somebody that didn't know Atlanta had a hockey team and didn't even come to relevate, how would you explain the NHL franchise throughout Atlanta?
Well, repeat that question.
So my question is, if you were talking to explain it like this: if I know nothing about the Thrashers and Flames, I was starting to get in NHL and knew nothing about the past with the NHL, how would you explain the past with the NHL and the Thrashers and Flames?
Mismanagement. Misunderstanding. That's exactly how I would.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I guess you were talking about that you have Atlanta Thrashers gear. What do you have memorabilia wise with the Thrashers?
I have a 2006 Coho Danny Heatley home blue one-sided arm Atlanta Thrashers jersey.
Oh my.
I have an Atlanta Thrashers navy blue T-shirt with the Thrashers logo on it around here somewhere. I have a Thrashers beanie around here somewhere that I think is in storage that my mother has seemed to never be able to find again.
Oh,
And
rip.
then I have a couple pins and stuff I've gotten off of eBay, and of course I still have that one magnet that I saw and was like, I'm starting this Instagram after I saw it. I took it off my grandmother's fridge in Atlanta, took it back to Nashville with me, and I'm here in my own apartment, and it's on my fridge right now.
I have only one jersey that I bought off of Amazon because I was like, you know what? It's a jersey. It's going on the wall, and I'm finding more stuff I want to buy related to the Thrashers, and I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, I have a bad habit.
Yeah, I mean, I have that same problem. Every time I see a Thrashers jersey cross my screen, I'm like, ooh, do I want to buy it? Do I want to buy that thing?
The one I'm looking at right now is a Kari Lettinen jersey on eBay. I'm like, do I want it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. And memorabilia is it's probably, because you don't make Thrashers gear anymore. It's eventually we're gonna run out. So I mean,
Yeah.
if we don't get our team back, it's just gonna be people either selling their gear or
Exactly.
we're going on this will be 11 years this year since we've lost the Thrashers. And we, as a fan base of a team that's not there, we have to get what is left, to remember it by.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like jerseys and stuff like that are a good way to do that.
Yeah. Dang you, Winnipeg.
And when I first started my Instagram, it was full of old Thrashers fans coming to me and saying like, I'm glad you did this. Like I was happy to see a Thrashers page, and it was very, like, I guess you could say, touching to me, because
Hmm.
I wasn't the only Thrashers page, but
Yeah.
my page really really exploded right when I first did it, and I got a lot of people. I'm 50 followers away from 1,000, which I would love to get. If this podcast can maybe help me on that, I'm looking for 1,000. We're almost there.
I will definitely I'm when I do these podcasts I post them everywhere, Facebook, um, Instagram, even up on YouTube, and it's being live streamed on Twitch, so it also gets that popularity of people coming to watch and seeing the live stream. And also when it goes up on YouTube, it'll be watched by hopefully everybody in the world.
I
But
hope so.
with the small account like I do with 241 subs, it's kind of hard to get that amount of viewership coming in. But
Of course, of course.
that's how social media pages are, and it sucks like that most of the time. But like with Instagram, I will definitely like put stuff out there, and if you want anything from my end, I will definitely. We can definitely work together on future projects with my NHL franchise. With the Atlanta comes, NHL comes to Atlanta with NHL 22, the video game.
Right, yeah.
So I'm always trying to look for people to come and sit on and watch that and like be a second talker while I focus and do all that. But like
Yeah, yeah.
seeing people, for me as someone who grew up in Atlanta, I was there until I was 9 years old, and growing around the Thrashers, I watched them while they were on TV up until 2011, and after 2011 you started seeing less and less of them, and then I started questioning what happened to that team. They were really good, and then when I found out that Winnipeg got them, I was like, dang, that was upsetting. And then I learned the true story. Is like, we need a team back, and we need to prove that hockey believe that Blue Land still lives and it deserves to be back in Atlanta.
You're right about that one. I
Even
mean, every post I have on Instagram, I follow it with Blue Land Lives every time, every post I have.
so with the Gladiators, how close are y'all? Or like with the Gladiators, working with them, how close are y'all?
I don't imagine we have I haven't heard anything about us talking to them since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
When we were really really pushing them hard to do a heritage night. Um, I have it. They do a heritage night every year now. So you could go and do that. Each period is a different section of Atlanta hockey history.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first period is the Flames, the second period is the Knights, the third period is the Thrashers. And it's a good time. It's really fun.
It's cool to
I
see those jerseys out on the ice again.
Yeah, it is. And they when you're when you're out there, like when they score a goal as the Thrashers, it plays our goal horn from the Thrashers. When they scored as the Flames, it played the buzzer, and when it was the Knights, it played the Knights goal horn. And Unleash the Fury happened when we were the Thrashers for the third period, and it was just really brought you back. It really really reeled you in.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I the one thing I miss about the Thrashers was that Thrasher that stood up in Phillips Arena that spit fire. That's the one thing I miss.
Yeah, that's an amazing feature. No one's been able to replicate that.
I wish with what you were talking about with the Heritage Night, they should find wherever the hell that is and bring it to that. That would be a iconic sight for sore eyes. Wherever it is, whatever storage facility, Gladiators, find it and please put it in that stadium. We want our Thrasher back.
I, I would love to see that.
So, speaking of Glads, do you have anything Glads related to them?
I know Connor was telling me that the Glads game tonight. I think it's supposed to be tonight. Hold on one second. Let me go take a little look here at my messages. he was saying something about the Glads game tonight being packed.
Oh wow.
He said yesterday, yesterday he said that they're expecting a huge crowd at the Glads game. So if anyone who's watching this live, go to the Glads game, get your tickets while they last. Go pack this house.
Wow, that is crazy. If it is packed, then that shows Atlanta deserves a hockey team. ATL deserves it. The land of
Right.
ATL. So speaking of the AHL coming, do we have a leaked name of what that team might be?
I don't believe so, not yet.
Dang, it'd be cool to see at least them bring an AHL team called the Atlanta Thrashers. That would be cool.
I would be down for it.
Do you think that could happen with the AHL bringing, the Thrasher name to an AHL because it's not an HL?
I mean, it's totally possible. I mean, the name Thrashers isn't tied to a certain league. Besides the fact that the Jets own the name. So I mean, I would be just as happy with the AHL team having the same branding, same everything as the the NHL team did. And then when we get an NHL team, we'll just move them up, kind of like soccer promotion,
I can see that happening. That would be a cool sight for sure. Is to see something like that come up within Atlanta. But anyways, coming back to the years of you doing this, have you ever lost hope to where there was a day to where you're like, why am I still doing this? Why am I supporting a dead team? Even though it's gave me a lot of likes, but have you ever had your days to where you're like, why am I even doing this? And what made you continue doing it?
I've never had a moment like that. I've had times where I've been too busy to, post and stuff because it seems easy to just throw a picture up there, say how do you do, go Thrashers. It is simple to do that, but that's not what people want. People want content. But there's never been a time where I'm like, why am I doing this? This is pointless, because the community around my page and the Thrashers fans have always been so supportive, and of every post I post, every time I put a post up there, people are always talking about, oh, I miss the Thrashers. I love the memories. It's so exciting to see this again. Wow, it's been years. I posted a picture of a Thrashers Ice Girl from a random picture, and someone who was following me is friends with her, and they all they ended up talking in the page
Wow.
about it.
Wow. That definitely shows that hockey deserves to be in the land of ATL. Blue Land deserves to come back.
Yeah.
If that doesn't show, so knowing that you're Nashville, I'm guessing you're going for the Nashville Predators, correct?
I actually, believe it or not, I became a Canucks fan.
Oh wow!
Because I ended up hopping on the bandwagon from 2011 when they went to the Cup. And my mom and dad kept taking me to games, and the Preds were always playing the Canucks when they would take me, and the Preds would get absolutely stomped.
Yeah.
When they would play them, and so I was like, man, the Canucks are awesome. I'm just gonna go for the Canucks. The Preds suck. Here recently, I've been repping the yellow for the Preds and everything.
Yeah. So,
but probably since 2015, I've been pretty into the Preds. I mean, still though, when the Canucks come to town, I'm there in my blue and green.
Exactly, gotta represent. So right now, I know the Stanley Cup is far, far away, but who would you love to see go for the playoffs with the Stanley Cup, who would you love to see in the final?
Go Preds, baby.
All right. I can probably agree to that, but I'll just say quietly over here, go Stars. Even though we got our asses whooped that last time. But
Oh man.
I feel like with Seattle, I feel like they might have a chance. I've been watching them a little bit. They've been doing okay for a hockey team that is starting up. But
You know, it's that expansion franchise bias.
so my last question for you is, with the NHL now and its expanding franchise, would you love to see that 100-team franchise?
100 NHL teams?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. That's a lot.
It'd be fun to see.
I mean, I guess with only 82 games in a season, though. Woo, that'd be crazy.
It'd be a crazy ride for the playoffs. But like, what's the number that you would love to see with the NHL for franchising different teams?
36.
36. That's a
I feel
decent
like-
number.
I mean, to be honest, 30, maybe 34.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Thrashers aren't in there at 34, then it'll be 36.
And then a franchise comes along, not the Thrashers. Okay, I'm gonna have to go up one more number.
I'm gonna have to add 2 more in there so we can go ahead and balance it out again.
And what other states would you love to see, except for Atlanta? What other states would you love to see get a hockey team?
Quebec.
Quebec.
They deserve it. Maybe Houston. Kansas City seems to think they want a team.
I would love to see that. I would love to see.
Whoever wants a team, and if you've got the support, then you deserve it.
If you got the support, if you got the pockets for it, and if you got the wallet for it. That's the way I see it. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast. If you want to go ahead and shout some things out, go ahead, my man. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, just follow Thrashers NHL on Instagram. Come tell me your Thrashers memories. I'll be happy to do it. If you have any pictures, I'll post them. I've always done that. And just believe in Blue Land. Unleash the fury. Go Thrashers. That's it.
Exactly. All right, man. Thank you so much for thank you so much for joining, and also thank you so much for what you're doing with the Thrashers. I thought I was going to be the only one trying to bring back a dead team, but when I found out about NHL and then you and then a whole bunch of people that are doing the same thing as you, I want to say from like everybody in Atlanta, thank you for what you're doing and trying to bring Blue Land back and bringing the Thrashers back. Thank you for the support and everything that you are doing for Atlanta.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We will definitely have to have you back in the podcast and see how everything's going with you in the future. And hopefully we can have you in the NHL franchise series. Come and help us with that video.
For sure.
All right, man. And if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the like button and also turn on the notification bell to be known when I put up a video. Alright guys, I'll see y'all next video. Peace out!